we're coming home here on set. Talk some more about this. We've got Liz Peek, syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and John Carney, famous financial journalist. Someday I'll get to read your stuff. I still can't get the thing. It's unbelievable. All right, first up, the CPI number today, John. This was a hell of a number, okay? I know the lefties are saying, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It matters. Of course it matters. If it was a high number, it would have mattered. It's a low number. The 3-month number is almost flat, for heaven's sakes. There's no evidence of a tarifflation. So go to town on this.
Right, quite the opposite from tarifflation. Core goods is up 1.4%. Durable goods, 1.5%. Clothes, which is something people said that's going to get pushed up, that's up 0.2% year over year, Larry. So there's no evidence of tariffs pushing up prices. The Democrats are panicking because of this number. They wanted inflation to be high and keep running high. So when we got this report, they immediately started to come up with reasons to not pay attention to it. The irony of that is the reason why there's a problem with the data, because the Democrats shut the government down. So they shut the government down, and now they say ignore the good data because we shut it down.
If you didn't like the delay, then why'd you shut the government?
They did it.
That's a wonderful. We have charts, by the way. I don't know. We have charts on wages, charts on prices. You can put them up, and we'll try to catch up to them. You know, Liz, I'm going to argue that this is just the beginning because of the drop in energy. I think this is a major, major factor. Okay, which one is that? I can't see that far. All right, so there's wages showing the improvement. So that's a great chart. Well, you got one on prices. Next up, there we go. Look at the difference in prices. It's very interesting. And do you have the oil chart, the big chart on oil before Liz tees off on oil? Oh, look at that! Look at the. Where was the peak? I can't see that. It looks like $80, $90. I think it was close to. All right, around 80. I think it got to 100 at one point. But whatever, Liz, it's down to 55.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable, and that is going to have a major effect on inflation, on interest rates, on growth, on every darn thing.
Which the president did talk about. He did talk about gasoline prices coming down, and that is probably the #1 signature price that all Americans are aware of, and that really hurt Joe Biden. When we hit $5 a gallon in gasoline prices for the first time ever under Joe Biden, people were furious. So we're seeing the opposite of that. Interestingly, some other energy categories were actually up in price in this latest CPI data. That will, I think, change, but I'm worried that some of these states are putting in so many taxes and regulations on fuel oil, natural gas, et cetera, that it's going to take a while to see this lower oil price actually filter through. But in gasoline, absolutely, we see it. And by the way, again, the president did talk about it, which is really powerful, I think.
mean, I just think it's in a way, it's very underrated because people aren't talking about it. I mean, oil, you know, Mr. Trump has I've said this before, he has a very oil and energy-centric view of inflation.
Right.
You know, he doesn't, you know, he's not a money supply guy, and he wants lower interest rates, but, you know, he doesn't like to complicate things. And when he sees oil and gasoline coming down, he knows now.
And Larry, it's not just oil and gasoline. We also have another big component of inflation is shelter. That is coming down a lot too.
Right.
Rents are coming down. In this report, the shelter inflation is going away. That will really help bring that down. You also look into the fact that we're not seeing a lot of labor force generated inflation. So lower inflationary pressures from labor, no inflationary pressures from tariffs, lower inflationary pressures from probably deflationary pressures from energy, and then shelter goes away. That's a recipe to get us to almost no excess inflation. We'll be down below the Fed's target.
Is that the, just as a throwaway, is that the self-deportation? And that's taken the pressure off rental and shelters and the rest?
I think the administration is making the case. If you have 2 million people leave the country, those 2 million people don't need housing. Right. So, yeah, it is a factor. But we're not hearing a lot about the inflation report in general. I mean, check your headlines, folks. They're not making a lot of noise about it because Democrats' narratives on the economy are getting demolished one after the other.
Good point.
Tariffs?
Good point.
Boom. What happened to the tariff scare? Okay, that's over. Now is inflation and affordability.
Carney single-handedly fought the tariff inflation. Single-handedly. On this show, week after week. Got to give him. I was with him on this, but he was the path breaker week after week, week after week. But the energy is another thing, though.
That's exactly
so how
right.
about all right? So translate this into interest rates, not just the Fed funds rate, but interest rates. I mean, what if you get CPIs that are 0? What if you get CPIs that are -3?
Well, you're going to see more interest rate cuts for sure, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, something we haven't talked about, which I think is very positive, is the budget deficit's coming down.
Ooh.
And if you have lower interest rates, guess what? The budget deficit comes down even more. I mean, it's actually a notable number right now. Spending last year was up 6%, 4%, but revenues were up 6%. You had a pretty nice closing of the budget gap. That could continue, and that's very powerful.
Okay, I got it. You're right, but I think you could have a 1 percentage point drop from everything. In other words, the 10 years at 4 could go to 3. You follow? The Fed funds rate is at 3.5, could go to 2.5. It is very possible. We just have to forget. I mean, I remember you had energy deflation during the Reagan years. Interest rates absolutely collapsed. You've had energy deflation in the 90s. Interest rates absolutely collapsed. It's not a financial crisis. It's just markets adjusting to prices. That's all.
We're also seeing that people's wages, we mentioned this
Am
earlier.
I wrong? I mean,
no, you're absolutely
you
right.
could just sit there. You can have fun. Have a cup of coffee. We could talk here and say, I know time is always a constraint. And all of a sudden, rates fall. Boom. Yeah. The market rates will fall.
Rates are falling. That will bring down mortgages when the 10-year comes down. Mortgages, that helps with home affordability. People's wages are rising faster than inflation, so they're able to buy more and save more and invest more. That will help as well. So I think the reason why the Democrats are panicked is because their entire thing was going to be affordability going into this next year, going into the midterms. They just saw their affordability narrative get crushed by this report.
Up in smoke. Next thing, they're going to have to start supporting Maduro.
That is their last thing.
They're all worried about the narco
Keep
traffickers.
Maduro and the Cuban communists in place, for heaven's sakes. That's what we're going to do. Or how about fishermen in the Caribbean? I mean, it's really, I got to get out. It's just
But Larry, it all comes back to pantyhose, oil and pantyhose.
I love the pantyhose.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. There's 200 categories
that's
here
a real thing.
from the energy department. I'm not making this stuff up. Liz Peek, fabulous. John Carney, thank you very much. Please put me on the list, for heaven's sake. I'd love to see what you're writing.